Thank you very much. And Chief, thank you for those kind words and for your service to Orland Park and to America. And thank you for those words about the folks in Waukesha. Thank you. I value your friendship and your support. I also want to thank all of you for coming tonight on short notice. I also want to thank Frank and Ryan and everyone here at Fox's, where all this began 5 years ago, in a small room in the basement downstairs, for those of you who were there. What a difference 5 years makes. Most importantly, I want to thank my wife, Betty, for her support. Sadly, she could not attend tonight because, as many of you know, she is a dedicated teacher. And tonight she has parent-teacher conferences. I'm sure she'd rather be here. Betty and I are the example of the American dream. I was adopted and grew up in a 400 square foot apartment a few hundred yards from here. She grew up in rural North Carolina. We both began working when we were just 10 years old. We met the first week I was stationed at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base 30 years ago, and married less than 1 year later, 2 weeks before my first deployment to the Middle East. By the time I left the Air Force 7 years later, our family had grown to include 2 daughters and a son. After leaving the Air Force, I took a job in Chicago and moved back here to my hometown to raise our family. This is where Betty taught Sunday school, went to college, and became a teacher, and where I coached youth baseball and basketball, and eventually built and sold a business. All of our children are now adults, and our family has expanded, as the chief said, to include 1 beautiful granddaughter. Betty and I are blessed to have raised our family in the greatest country in history. However, it seems now, more than ever, America is under attack from the radical left. Politicians in Washington, D.C., like Marie Newman, Sean Casten, and Nancy Pelosi have put special interests, party politics, and extreme far left agendas ahead of what's doing the best thing for the people that they represent. This is why I announced my candidacy for the Republican nomination to represent the new Illinois 6th Congressional District this morning. I will fight the radical progressives in D.C. and vote for common sense solutions to help all Illinoisans, just like I have as mayor of Orland Park. I defeated a 28-year politician to become mayor of Orland Park in 2017 and have worked alongside our trustees to defeat the radical left here in Orland Park ever since. Together, we instituted term limits to put an end to career politicians. We cut the mayor's salary by over 70% and eliminated pension benefits to stop local elected officials from getting rich off taxpayer dollars. We have put the people first and done what is best for the people in our community. We have changed local government in Orland Park to focus on doing the right thing for residents and businesses. I look forward to bringing that same mindset to Congress by putting people over politics. I will fight inflation and reduce taxes on hardworking Americans. Reckless spending by Democrats in Washington has led to the highest inflation since 1980, causing working families to struggle to cope with high gas prices and grocery prices. In Orland Park, we work together to cut spending, balance the budget, pay down debt, and lower our taxes. In just one term, we cut operating expenses by 14% and paid down over $50 million in debt, while more than doubling our investment in the village's infrastructure. We also reduced property tax rates by 22% in my first term. I will bring the same fiscally responsible leadership to Congress for the residents of the 6th District and all Americans. I will work to grow the economy and create good-paying middle-class jobs. It is high time to bring economic growth and prosperity back to our country, especially right here in the 6th District. I will fight to hold China accountable as it tries to push global economic policies that hurt American businesses and our working families. I will support American manufacturing and work to bring manufacturing jobs back to reduce our dependence on China and other foreign countries. This morning, my announcement took place at Alexander Equipment in Lisle. Those that were there saw American manufacturing capabilities on full display. Morbark chippers, Rayco and Carlton stump grinders, manufactured in Michigan, Ohio, and South Carolina, respectively. As a small business owner, I know what it takes to create jobs. I used this experience during my first term as mayor to help diversify the Orland Park economy, revitalize Orland Square Mall, and pave the way for over 600 new businesses to open in Orland Park during my first term. During the pandemic, we fought for small business and restaurants like Fox's, where we are tonight. I am routinely thanked by owners like Ryan and Frank for the village allowing people to make the decisions that were best for them. These owners tell me regularly that if not for staying open, their businesses would have closed permanently, their families would have been financially ruined, and their employees would have lost their jobs. Thank you to the village board for joining me in helping those businesses survive. I will also keep 6th District families safe and our neighborhoods secure. U.S. and Chicago crime levels are at record highs, and Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx lets violent criminals roam free. Since Kim Foxx entered office, she has routinely refused to prosecute criminals. She's emptied our jails, pushed for no cash bail, and made ankle monitoring the new norm. She is publicly supported by Sean Casten and Marie Newman. As a result, suburban families are seeing frightening increases of crime in our once peaceful communities. I will fight to keep our residents and businesses safe, just as I have in Orland Park, where crime is at the lowest level in 27 years. Our violent crime rate is the lowest for cities over 50,000 in the state of Illinois, which resulted in Orland Park being named the safest city in Illinois in 2020. These results are driven by our proactive police department, its leaders, and its officers. We have instituted programs like the Mobile Response Unit that partners with third-party mental health professionals, allowing them to take on the nonviolent calls. This has significantly reduced committals, provided timely intervention for those in crisis, and allowed our officers to stay on patrol rather than going to hospitals. Due to this program's success, we are rolling it out with 5 neighboring towns. Our department and programs like this are a model for the rest of the country to follow. When others, including Sean Casten and Marie Newman, were calling for police funding to be reduced or eliminated, while riots were rampaging through Chicago and the country, the Village of Orland Park Police Department, with cooperation from our fire district and the rest of the village staff, kept our village safe. My support for all of our first responders is unwavering. As someone who has flown combat missions, I know a little bit about putting one's own life on the line, and I can tell you that those missions are nothing compared to what our officers currently face on a daily basis. I will fight the left-wing radical agenda in Washington, just as I did last week here in Orland Park, when Orland Park School District 135 announced it was canceling Christmas. This decision was made by a non-elected superintendent, and the majority of the board was not aware. I took to social media to make parents and all residents aware of this awful and unacceptable decision. Parents peacefully made it clear to the board that this action was unacceptable, and the board forced the superintendent to reverse his decision. I, like most of you, find myself in a time that I did not think would ever exist in America, where these types of actions are regularly made by unelected officials and are left unchecked by those who we elect. Our Constitution, the very foundation of our republic, is being ignored on many fronts. This is not what I fought for. This is not what any of the veterans in this room fought for. We fought for an idea, the American idea, an idea that we should all be grateful and thankful to be a part of, an idea framed and described in the Declaration of Independence, an idea that is encapsulated in these two sentences from that very declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with the certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This was signed on July 4th, 245 years ago, by 56 men, some great and some otherwise historically unknown. We all recognize the names of John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Samuel Adams. However, most of the other names, few of us would know. Is that not the epitome of America? Unknown, common men and women who do great things. Not because they sought out greatness, but because they stepped up and did the right thing and gave of themselves when they were asked. We must never forget that America is an idea that many brave Americans have fought and died to protect. The citizens of the 6th District and all Americans deserve common sense leaders that will fight for them and for the American idea. My record stands as a stark contrast to the failed far-left policies of Marie Newman and Sean Casten. My experience and success as an F-15 instructor weapons system officer, small business owner, and local mayor has prepared me to take on the extreme politicians in Washington. As your congressman, unlike my opponents, I will put people over politics. Thank you. Thanks, Dan Chief.